Hello everyone, welcome to another lecture on C++ programming language. We are on lecture 35 on C++, and in this lecture we are writing another program using switch statements. We develop a game controller program using switch statement. So many of us, played games, especially in our laptops. So we use, different buttons of keyboards for moving the character of the game. So for example, in most of the game we have so we are in lecture 35, so let me write here. In most of the games we use the W for moving up, W key from the keyboard for moving up, and we use the A for moving left. We want to move the character of the game to the left side, so we use A. And then we use S. We use S for moving down, if you want to move down the character. So the character of the game, we use S, we press S. And we have D if we want to use the character of the game to the right, so moving right. So in this lecture, we write a program using switch statements and ask the user to enter, the character. So when the user enters the character, so if the user enters W, so we say, moving up. If the user, enters A, it's moving left. And if the user enters S, it's moving down. The character is moving down. And if the user enters D, it's, the character is moving right. So it's a kind of, gaming controller program in C++. So let's write this program in C++. So before I write this program, please, stop or pause. Before I write this program, please pause this video and go to your computer and please write this program by yourself. And if you have any issue, then come back and watch this video. So now let's go and write this program. So I start from, we include our library first. Ash include IOStream. And then we use a standard C++ library using namespace. We include the namespace std in our program. Then we declare, or we write our main function, integer main. We open the curly braces for the main. We close the curly braces for the main function. And at the end of the main function, of course, we have return 0. So you need to just be careful to don't forget this statement, return 0. And now we declare a variable, type of character, character type. We say char, and the name should be move. I name this variable move because I need to get these characters from the keyboard, like W, A, S, D. So now I see out here, and I say game controller. This is a program, game controller, \n, semicolon. And now I ask the user, cout, enter the move. Enter the move. And then We enter, whenever user enters like W or A or S or D, they print from the keyboard. So we store that one inside the move variable using cn function. And now we switch. It's time to use the switch statement. Switch, move, and now we have to check. We open the curly brace for the switch, and we close the curly brace for the switch here before return 0. So here I use the case. Say, let's write here. I say if the user enters W, case capital W, colon, colon, and case small w. If the user enters either, capital W or, a small w, so we see out and we say action, moving up, moving up, and then \n, semicolon, \n creates new line, and then we use break, and then semicolon. If the user enters A, so we check for case capital A or case small letter a. The user enters one of them, so we see out, quotation, it says moving left. Action, we say action moving left. And then we use here \n and semicolon and quotation. We close the quotation because it's a string, and then we \n and semicolon. And then we use break. So if the user enters W, so we check if the value of move is equal to W, the small letter w or capital letter W, we say action moving up. If the user enters, like for example, A, so we first check the first case, so it's not equal, A is not equal to W, so it checks with the second case, which is case A. So it says action moving left. And now we need another case, so I write the remaining, switch statement code in this section of the whiteboard, the right section. So I say case S. Capital S, case S or case small s. Then we see out action, moving down. The action is, moving down. \n, new line, then we close the quotation, and then we semicolon, and then we break. Break, which is stop execution inside the switch statement when the condition becomes true, and it, then it will, execute the remaining of program after switch block. Then we check for case D. So the user press D key from the keyboard, case capital D, case small letter d, then we see out action moving right. Action moving right. \n, quotation, semicolon, and then break. And then we have default, In the switch we have default if none of the above cases are true. So what I can do here, I can, like this section of the, break statement will be executed with it, default section of our program. So what I can do here, I can write cout, invalid, character. You press invalid character. This is then \n was semicolon. And this is, our program or game controller program. So first we declare a variable called move and data type is character because we need to, get input from the user, which is we need to get W or A or S or D. And then we see out here say game controller. And then here we see out it says enter the move. We ask the user to enter the move, like also you can, like put here A, B, like ask the user, like you can, put here enter the move and inside the parentheses I can say W, A, S, D. W, A, S, D. And whenever a user enters one of those, characters from the keyboard, so we store that character inside the move variable, then we switch the move. So for example, if the user enters W, so we store the W inside move, and we compare the move value to the each case value, So the user enters W, so this W is equal to the case value W. So whenever it becomes equal, so it says cout action moving app, and then break. It breaks, and then whenever the break is executed, it, exit from the switch block, and it will, execute the remaining of our program in main method. Then if the user enters like, A, so we store that A inside the move variable, and then we compare the A with the case value. A is equal to W, no. So the first case will not be executed. Then we go to the second case. If A, the value of move is equal to the value of case A, yes, it's equal. So the action moving, left is executed. And then if the user enters, for example, S, so this case will not be executed, this case will not be executed, and this case will be executed because the value of move inside the move variable is S, and S is equal to S. So now this case will be executed, this part, and it print out action moving down. And if the user enters D, so this case will not be executed, this case will not be executed, this case will not be executed because the value of variable is D now, they are not equal to them. So now case D will be executed, and it says action moving right. And if the user enters another word, another character from the keyboard, so like for example, it's like it enters like E or F. So our switch statement check the value of the move with all the cases, but when the user enters F, so none of the case value is F. So the default section will be executed, and it says invalid character. So this is a simple game controller using switch statement. So now it's time to go in our computers and write this program. So I'm back on my computer. So let's open our C++ IDE, and we are on lecture 35. In lecture 35, we write a game controller using switch statement. So we write a game controller program. So first, we declare our variables, char move, and then we cout. We cout, say game, it's game controller, sorry. And then \n and \n, we create two new lines. And here we, again, we cout another. So let's make it cout. And not single quotation, we use double quotation. And we say, let's write use, not all of them. use W, then inside parentheses we say app for app, then we comma A, we say left, A for the left, then we say S for the down, and then we have, D, it's for the right. So the user understand, like which, characters should enter to move the game character. And then we use \n and semicolon. And now we ask the user to see out. See out. We ask the user enter, move. Semicolon. And we use the cn to store the input from the user inside the move variable. And now we use switch. And we use case W and case W. If the user enters, capital W or a small w, we see out. And we see out and we say action moving app. Action moving app. And then we use, semicolon and then brick. Then we have another case, which is, case A. Case A. So I make it, more readable, the program. If the user enters A, so we see out, action moving left. Yeah, that's correct. And the good thing about this ID is, like it suggests automatically and it makes our write code more faster, like. So if the case is, S and a small letter S, so now we see out action moving, down. Yeah, action moving down, and then brick. And then case D, small letter, and see out action moving right and brick. So let's make it more readable. Okay. And now we have, at the end, we have default. And in default, we can say, like invalid key pressed. In default, see out, and say action. Not a valid move. Yeah, so this is a program, a game controller program using switch. So first we declare our variable, which is, move, and the data type is character, because we need to ask the user to enter a character, like use W for up, A for the left, S for down, and D for the right. And then we see out enter move, ask the user to enter the move whenever user enters the move. So we store that, that character inside the variable move, and then we switch that move. It means we compare the value of this variable with each case value. First, we compare with W if the user enters W from the keyboard, so W become, equal to W. So we, the first case will be executed, this section. And it says action moving app. If the user enters, A, so the first case will not be executed. Then it goes to the second case, which is A. So the second case will be executed and it says action moving left. If the user enters S or small letter A, so it says see out action moving down. If the user press, D from the keyboard, so it says, see out action moving right. And then if the user, enters another, character, like P, like K, like Z, like any other character. So it says action is not a valid move. So action not a valid move. So let's run our program. So this is our program. Yeah, it says game controller. Use W for up, A for left, S for down, D for right. Enter move. So for example, I enter S. It says action moving down. And if I run again the program, and I can see here, like I enter A, it says action moving left. And if I enter, D, with a small d, let's say, action moving right. And if I enter, like W, it says action moving up. And if I enters another, character like I, it says, not a valid move. So this is an example of, game controller using switch statements.